Okay, the first thing I'm going to cover, in one of my videos, somebody was saying something about my voice. Now, if something I struggle with on making these videos for a long time is if I don't make a conscious effort to talk slowly and carefully, people don't understand me. I've got a brain that's locked in turbo mode, and I tend to talk real fast. And if I don't make a conscious effort, it's a real struggle to talk slowly and carefully. Because I'm just used to talking super fast. But yeah, that is something I can. So people don't understand me if I don't talk real slow. Next thing I'm going to cover now. If Wanda Hussey does choose to and is able to put note in the glove compartment of her 4Runner, she needs to say something like. If she gives it, the title of her YouTube channel, she needs to say, "Hey, look, I do mainly nature stuff and urbex-like videos, stuff like that. You need to watch some of my content, because with a name like Wanda Hussey, someone might think maybe it's dedicated to porn or something like that. I mean, not knowing her, not knowing her content, you might think something like that. That's just something I was thinking about. Now, next thing I'm going to cover, Pole Barn Garage is, I haven't watched all the video, I watched about 10 minutes of it on my phone. I'm going to download it and watch it on my TV. Also need to watch Annie's latest video. Annie's in New Mexico somewhere, and it looks like she's getting some pretty interesting videos, Annie's Adventures. But Pole Barn Garage, looks like that he's bought him like 2 acres in New Mexico somewhere. I don't know exactly where. I think he's kind of keeping that to himself, so he doesn't have any unwanted visitors. I think that's kind of his idea. He's looks like someone was in the process of setting up a mobile home but didn't quite finish it. Looks like the plumbing, maybe they're redoing something, I don't know, but they've got electricity hooked up, but not the water. So if I were there, I'm sure I could figure it out. But I think he can figure it out. He can get somebody over there to help him finish that. But he's gonna put used cars over there, cars in the process of being restored. I think if I were going to do that, I'd put up maybe a 6-foot high fence, cyclone fence, so that people couldn't see into there. You don't want your, of course, maybe the neighbors don't care. Maybe the neighbors are far enough away it's not a problem. But I think I'd put a fence over there just so that, where he's going to enclose an area of the house and the cars and stuff, so the neighbors couldn't see it and they couldn't see it as a problem. That's a problem some places have. Once you start putting a bunch of used cars in there, the neighbors start complaining about it. Okay, last thing I'm going to cover now, when we start colonizing other planets and stuff, what if there's already life there? What if life exists so differently we don't recognize it as life? What if there's life here on Earth other than our plants and animals and us humans? What if it exists so differently we don't even recognize it as life? That's something I've wondered about for a long time. And they had it on one episode of Star Trek where these people were going to colonize this planet, or terraform, as it's known. There was already a life there, but it was a silicone-based life. And these people that were going to colonize the planet were actually destroying it unintentionally. And these life forms, reacted. They end up killing a couple people, trying to prevent, prevent their own death. It was something like that. They eventually figured out that was life there, and they left the planet back to the silicone-based life. But like I said, what if there's a form of life on Mars that we don't recognize as life? What if it's already there? Or maybe the moon. The moon's a vacuum, but maybe something can exist in a vacuum. Maybe something can live in a vacuum, or maybe there's just a very tiny atmosphere there, enough for them to live in. Just something that kind of boggles your mind that something exists so differently that we wouldn't recognize it as as a form of life. That's something that me and some of the science fiction writers have thought about, I guess. Okay, just my thoughts. Love y'all. Bye bye.